Welcome back. Oh, sorry. We know each other so well that we say each other's words. But yeah,
We're in sync.
Welcome back to our channel for another video.
Pause. Let's stop this video right now to give a very important shout out. First up, Brown Brothers Apparel. Brown Brothers Apparel is run by a coworker of mine and a good buddy called Nate. He recently opened up a clothing line and business that way people like you and I can get high quality, fashionable apparel at a reasonable price. He has shirts and hoodies for both men and women. As well as some clothing for the kids. The shirts worn in this video by Carla and myself are from his store. Check him out at www.brownbrothersapparel.com. Again, that's www.brownbrothersapparel.com. This special shout out goes to a man by the name of Emilio Soto of the House of Levites Music. Emilio is a young and humble servant of God with the gift to produce some amazing music. He is a sound engineer from New Jersey who enjoys doing God's will more than anything else. Emilio has allowed me to use his single, I Am, the instrumental, as the background music for this video. You can check out this song on his YouTube channel and on Spotify at eSoto Music, as well as follow and support him on Instagram and Facebook under at the House of Levites Music and at eSoto Music. If you are in need of some music or your church needs assistance in the sound engineering department, feel free to reach out to him. Bless both of these ministries/businesses by liking, sharing, and subscribing to their respective businesses. Now we can go back to the video.
So today's gonna be kind of a. Say hi, Peanut.
Oh yeah, yeah. Excuse us. We'll say hi. He got a haircut, and he also graduated. He had a training with the place where we bought him at. He had some training going on, so he graduated. He got a haircut, so he's starting out. He'll start 2020 in the bang, right, Peanut? I guess that's a yes. We'll go with that. All right, Peanut.
All right, Peanut.
We'll
we gotta get to it. All right, Peanut. All right, so today's video is gonna be a little bit different, and I know by the time that you guys are probably gonna watch this video, it's already gonna be 2021, and it's gonna be a huge new year for some people, and for some people it might be frightening, and but we just wanna give a little recap / personal experience / little reflection that we want to go ahead and do, just share our thoughts on 2020.
Yes.
And leave it on a positive note, because I know it's been hard for a lot of people, but we want to just share our thoughts to, leave a little positivity for 2020. So.
Yeah, because we are, like she said, we all know this year's been, I would say, a year nobody expected. I mean, a lot of times, of course, when we start out a year, we have a mindset in mind, I'm going to accomplish X, Y, Z thing. And so it doesn't happen, but I think really everybody was caught by surprise of what happened with, of course, with the pandemic of, the infamous now COVID-19 that's, been going on for roughly about close to 10 months now. It's changed our lives in a way that, like I said, no one expected. And I could probably comfortably say, I mean, if after I make this statement, you can leave a comment in the below if you differ from me. I would say this year has probably been the biggest year in, I would say, United States history, probably worldwide in a sense, but with the U.S., probably since the Great Depression, era and stuff like that, it's been so many curveballs, and it was just like, the total opposite. It's kind of like when you watch the Weather Channel, and they say, okay, yeah, it's going to be bright and sunny, and all of a sudden you go outside and it's just pouring out of nowhere. That's kind of how this year kind of turned out, and I know it's one way or another, it's affected everyone. You know, if you had a good 2020, I'm happy for you, and I'm glad. Hopefully, 2021 is even better for you. But I know I would say the vast majority of people, 2020, one way or another, has not been a good year at all. And we're just kind of here to reflect that, like my wife said, and just kind of go over some personal experiences we went through. So I don't know if you want to give it a start.
Yeah, so let's start before COVID even became huge. Oh, by the way, get your hot cocoa because Ariel has a hot cocoa.
It's kind of cold, you know.
The way 2020 kind of started out for us, of course, it was just like any other year. I know I remembered I had mentioned to Ariel, hey, you know, we're going to plan a trip, blah, blah, blah. And then if you watched our Q&As, you'll know about the trip that we took to San Antonio, blah, blah, blah.
Link in the description to that one.
Yeah, we'll put it in the card so you guys can check it out if you haven't checked it out. So everything just started as normal, and we had our good times and stuff like that, and then progressing throughout the months, February going on to there, that's when COVID started rapidly increasing all over the world. It was just like, oh my gosh, COVID this, COVID that. It was like terrible. I honestly have never seen anything like this. Like you would see these kind of things like in movies, but you would never think, oh my gosh, like I'd live to see something like this, you know. And I never thought I would get to 2020. You know, it's like weird to say like 2020. Like
like I know me, like a '90s kid, you see something movie. Oh yeah, when 2000 said you're gonna have flying cars and this, that, whatever. I'm still waiting for the flying car, but it's like it seems so long ago. Back when I was a little kid, growing up in the mid '90s. Now, when it's like, wow, you know, in case you guys already know, my birthday's in January, I'll be 29. It's kind of like, man, you know I expected a different world in a sense with certain aspects of it. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good things going on, but I expected a different world stuff, and it's kind of like, you know, like Carla said, you know, I would have never expected what happened this year to happen, and not even with just COVID, some other stuff that we'll go into details later on, but I'll let you continue with what you're
saying. Yeah. So, progressing through the months, I believe it was like around March, around that time, or was it July?
What's that?
Where I got unemployed.
Well, first, though, okay, this is the what made it a little bit worse for us in this sense, and I know worse is not a good word properly. But after our trip that we took for the week of my birthday, when we came back, probably a week or two later, she got laid off from her job that she already had.
Yep.
So she's laid off, waiting for work, and then a month later, COVID hits. Mm-hmm. And that throws a whole, you know...
curveball from the new job opportunity I had set.
Yeah, 'cause I know you had like 2 or 3, and then, COVID hits, well, we're not hiring people now. It's like, are you serious? Like, it's like, you know, it hit, we were getting early hits, you know, from the start, and then of course once COVID rolled around, that made it a bit worse. But laid off, I know that happened, and you had another job in about the spring, and it finished around the summertime. Then you went a long stretch, without work.
Yeah, it was hard to find like a stable job. Obviously, because of COVID, there weren't a lot of people going to buildings and stuff like that. So I was struggling to find like a stable job. I'm like, even though it's COVID, I wanted to try to find like a long-term job, but I just kept getting contract job after contract job, and normally they're all permanent, so it's like 3 months or whatever the case may be. And it was hard. I mean, I know not only myself, I went through it. A lot of people during this year, fortunately, went through a lot of difficult changes, and 2020, it threw a curveball to many of us, and a lot of people have lost people due to COVID, lost loved ones due to COVID. But and you know, that's something that's so difficult to deal with, because of the fact that due to COVID, you can't even really, like normally, like before even COVID started, you can't go to a funeral like with all your loved ones and gather, like cry together, like embrace each other. It's like, it's hard because now you have to limit who can go and who can't and stuff like that, and it's hard. It's really hard. And I know my husband can say more about that, because close family of his got affected by COVID, and it's really hard. And especially
it's just been the years. Like I said, it's hard to wrap words around this year, like I mentioned, I know my wife and I were talking. I said for sure, I don't know when we'll be blessed to have children. You know, how many years down the road. But I know eventually, definitely when they get to schools, if textbooks still exist or wherever in the curriculum, wherever. I know this year is going to be a year's going to have its own big section in it due to everything that's happened, you know, throughout this year. And it's just like she's saying, you know, I know my pastor had mentioned recently too that, you know, now it's like, you know, if I would have told you in January, by the end of the year, you're going to be wearing a mask every time you go outside, you'd be like, you're crazy. You know, I never wear a mask, you know, and stuff like that. Not many people, probably besides people in the medical field, even wore masks. But now we're all wearing masks, which that's a total change. You know, when you go out to eat, I know a lot of times I've been doing some DoorDash, you'll see like, you know, X's on the tables or they'll have tape, and it's kind of like, wow, you know, you can't really have a full capacity restaurant, which is, you know, just odd as it is. Or like, you know, whenever you do, you know, because we're supposed to try to social distance as much as we can, but it's hard to be away from your family.
Yeah.
So when you see your family, it's like, especially like when I see my mom and my dad and like her mom, and I'm kind of like, I want to hug you really tight, but I'm like, I really can't because I don't know if I could possibly have it, you know, since, you know, they say the younger people are more asymptomatic. And luckily, I thank God, you know, two big things this year definitely that I thank Him for, or, well, there's really three. But one is, of course, throughout all this, even though our schedule changed and it's been a wacky year, I've kept my job, which is something I'm definitely grateful for to my employers. That, you know, I've been blessed to continue working. You know, I haven't lost my job, and luckily none of my coworkers have either. And secondly, of course, my wife is safe, I'm safe, and my family. You know, unfortunately, there was a death in my family, my mother's aunt. But, you know, for the most part, my grandparents had COVID. Several aunts and uncles, they had it, and cousins and other family members and people I know close. And luckily, they were able to survive and weather that storm. But luckily, we're still here. And I would say the third thing that I always remember 2020 in the good note is, for sure, is the fact that's when we got Peanut, of course, which that's something I always remember because I know before, she's had dogs before. She's like, I want to have a dog. I'm like, yeah, when we get a house or whatever and stuff. But like she said, this year was very tough, and I know she was without work and stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I need to do something special because I hate leaving her at home. You know, especially when I was working nights. I don't want to leave her home alone and stuff like that. I'm like, let's go get a dog. And when we saw Peanut, of course, we fell in love with him right away. And I'll say that's one of the best decisions I ever made in my life. Of course, marrying my wife, but also buying Peanut because I didn't know how much she would love a dog. I never had that kind of like experience because I never had like dogs like that before because my mother's allergic to a lot of the pets due to the what's the word, like when they throw out the hair and they
shed hair
and all that stuff. But luckily, Peanut's hypoallergenic, so that helps me with my allergies too and stuff like that. But those are three things that we take the positive out, and I always try to look at the positive outlook on stuff. But again, you know, going back to 2020, it's just a year that, you know, has been, you know, totally crazy and stuff like that. And I've just seen, you know, it's crazy how we evolved and stuff like that. Because I can still remember that day at work, which was March 18th, when or I believe it was the 17th or 18th. That was our last day working together. We were split off on two teams. I remember I was joking with some of the guys. And I was kind of like, oh, yeah, you know, maybe I'll see you guys in 2 weeks or in a month or next year, you know, who knows. And I kind of, you know, I guess spoke, you know, some sort of truth there without knowing it because we're still, you know, separated due to COVID and trying to keep our safety measures, social distancing and all that stuff. And it's just been a crazy experience for me in that aspect, you know. And then sadly also branching off to, you know, with the Black Lives Matter movement and all that's gone on, and with the election stuff, which I won't get into details, you know, in depth on that, just the general aspect of it. But I know where I work, our building was affected by it, and sometimes we would see protests going on and all that stuff, and it was something that's like, wow, you know, I never experienced such a thing. And I know it's happened, you know, in the past before. LA seen that a lot, and I can imagine with the time of Martin Luther King and all that stuff, all those protests and riots going on, which had to be something, you know, I'm pretty sure more to a greater degree than what's happened here. The thing that's something that I was like, I never thought I would see or I would imagine to see. It's just chaos and stuff. And like myself, I'm a sports fan. You know, I love baseball. Baseball's my favorite sport. But, you know, of course, I love basketball and football and all that. And seeing how this affected the sports world as well is something that's, you know, beyond me. Something I would have never imagined in the baseball aspect. Seeing such a short season, you know, I would have never thought of, you know, such a thing. And the NBA, when they had to go into the bubble, you know, for the most part, luckily NFL's been able to play all their games and stuff. But that's something that's just, if you see not just affecting, someone from a certain social class or someone from a certain race or ethnicity, it's affected everyone one way or another. And it's just something like I will repeat and say, it's just, it leaves me a little bit at a loss for words what's happened. But luckily, I can say by the grace of God, we're still here today. We're still moving forward. There's a scripture that says, which I don't remember the exact book and chapter and verse, but it says, as long as there's life, there's hope. And that's the most important thing out of all of this. We've all been hit hard. We've been hit like a drum throughout this whole year, but we weathered the storm and we're still here. So it's good, sometimes it's good to look at your struggles and your downfalls and your worst times for some people and learn to reflect, because that's always where you can build at. Because a lot of times, for example, if you want to, let's say, build a new home, a lot of times you have to break that ground and build a foundation before you can start building that home. You can't just build a home right there, because that home's not going to last. So sometimes you have to be broken to then be built up and see, the results of, you reap what you sow, in that aspect. So, again, with the election, that was another crazy thing as well, and it's something that's still going on, which is, something that it's like everything you can imagine happened this year, and it's like, I know many people said, and there's probably been memes, whatever, saying, it's such a 2020 thing. We've seen, the craziest of things this year, but I would say just, we gotta look forward, move forward. The past is the past, and it's something we cannot change. All we can do is strive to better ourselves and to have a better future, I would say. I think that's all I got right now. I don't know.
No, I definitely agree with Ariel, and just overall, I know, like I said before, we want to portray that 2020 was, we want to leave it on a positive. We don't want to say, oh yeah, it was the worst year of my life and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's hard. A lot of people went through struggles and tribulations and trials, but for us, the most important thing is that we were able to be safe, and we're still able to see our loved ones, of course. Yeah, it's difficult because, like Ariel said, we're not able to hug them and, give them a kiss on the cheek like we used to before, because you never know, God forbid we spread it to our family members and then they spread it to other people, and then we're like going to be the cause of, or the root of the cause, stuff like that. But either way, we just want to leave 2020 on a positive note and just let you guys know that you're not alone. I know 2020 was hard, but we just want to let you guys know that if you ever feel alone, or you guys feel like you guys need someone to talk to, just know you always have God. God's always there.
Number one, always.
Number one, always. For us, He's always number one. Yes. And we want to be able to share that blessing with you guys. And we as a couple, we're starting YouTube, we want to be able to be a blessing to you guys when you guys watch us, because we want to spread that love and that positivity and that, that sort of vibe and stuff like that. Because nowadays, unfortunately, when it comes to like big YouTubers, they have their own stuff going on and stuff like that, but it just, unfortunately, sometimes it goes to their own benefit. And for us, our goal is to be able to benefit and give to others. We don't want to just get. I was raised, and I know he was raised the same way. We just want to get to the point where we're able to give back to you guys. We don't want to just receive. Like, yeah, it's a big blessing, okay? If we got like a huge audience, that's good. I mean, that's a big blessing for us. But we want to be able to give back to our community and, change people's lives and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I mean, we just got to go ahead and, like I tell Ariel, we just got to pray for 2021, and we're going to be praying for you guys. We're going to be praying for whoever's watching this video, for them to prosper and be healthy and continue living a good life coming into the next year, because 2020 is going to be of the past. It's going to be gone. So.
Yeah, and like they said, when it's written in stone, you can't change what's happened. You can only change what's going to come. And that's why I know we both try, for the most part, we always try to look at things, as the analogy or the saying goes, with the cup half full instead of half empty, because, yeah, if I were to dwell on all the negative this year, man, this year's probably been one of the roughest years of my life. But I try to take the positive points of it, that I'm still employed, I'm still healthy, my family's still healthy, they're still alive and safe, my wife is healthy. I have a dog that, you know, I'm gonna enjoy many years with and stuff, and there's still a chance in these last few days of this year, because this is recorded in this video is being recorded in 2020, but we had the last days of this year and also next year to do an impact and do a change. Whether it's, you know, like she said, you know, helping out others, you know, helping out those in need, whatever the case may be, you know, whatever you feel is the best way to help others make a difference, definitely make a difference. Because 2020 has made a difference in a lot of people in a negative way, and in a way we didn't want to or expected or asked for. But we always have that opportunity to make a difference in people. And I know for sure one of the best ways to make a difference is to speak of the word of God to people that don't know it. And those who do know it, speak with them too, because sometimes you can gain strength and refuge in that. Like I know my father-in-law was in town, and I know with my wife's brother-in-law and my father-in-law, we were speaking, we were just talking about different experiences we've had in our life, in pertaining in our life, you know, in the church and with God and stuff like that. And it's a beautiful thing, because hearing others' experiences gives you strength. So that's why in part we wanted to share this video, because even though there was a lot of negatives, we wanted to share positives. That way, you know, so like they always say, you know, sometimes what you're going through is bad, and what someone else is going through, it could be just as bad or as worse. Not saying one's more important than another, but the most important thing is trying to take the best out of everything, you know. For example, sadly, you know, when someone does pass away, we don't want them to leave, you know. But unfortunately, in that aspect, we're selfish, that we want people to stay in our lives forever, and that's not how things work out, sadly. But what we could do is just take all the good memories and all the good times we had and keep that in our hearts instead of the negative. And that's what I'll say about ending 2020, going into 2021, is just try to keep a positive mind, a positive attitude. And I know a lot of people, when they make New Year's resolutions, which is awesome and great, but you don't have to wait until January 1st to start something new. If you feel in your heart today, do it today, make a change, be positive at all times, and just try to be the best version of yourself. That is the most important thing. Like I know one of my other coworkers, he recommended the show The Good Place, and my wife and I we really liked the show. It was a really good show. And this is not a sponsored part of this video, but yeah, but you know, you can go ahead and Netflix watch it. I recommend it. It's a really good show, and it keeps you with the cliffhangers and stuff. But the most important thing is, like they said there, you know, you want to be the best version of yourself, and that is the most important thing. Work on yourself, work on being a better person yourself, so that way you can see the impact in your life and those who surround you. So that's what I would say about 2020. And that's kind of like our verbal diary of 2020, I would say. I don't know if you have anything else you want to add to it.
No, but like I mentioned before, I mean, just keep a positive sight ahead. For sure, if you pray on it and you know what your intentions are, and your intentions are good, God will greatly bless you. Believe me, we both experienced it. So you just keep praying, keep hoping that there's always going to be good hope in the future. And no matter what, if you guys are struggling, whatever the case may be, you know, we're going to pray for you. But just know God will always be there. And so here's to 2021.
Yep, and see whatever curveballs it brings. But like they say, you know, you're going to miss every shot you don't take. So even though the curveballs do come, if you see it look like a good pitch, swing for it. Give it a shot. And just, like I said, do the best you can with it. So
yes,
that's our video here and stuff. So you want to hit us up with our social media stuff?
Oh, yes. So, guys, I wanted to announce we did create a TikTok. I posted just, like, random posts and stuff, you know, but I mean, if you guys want to go check us out, I'll go ahead and I'll put it in the description box below. Also, don't forget to check out Nate's website, his merch. It's really good material, guys, I promise. We wouldn't be promoting it if it wasn't.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want to waste your time like that.
Yes. And don't forget to follow us on our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We're going to try to post there a little bit more and kind of give like little 30-second minute clips of our videos. That way you know what to expect. And hopefully, you know, you can just spread this out to everyone, because like I know we said in past videos, and kind of what we're saying here, our whole goal with this channel is to bring positivity to people, bring joy, bring laughter, because I know sometimes we can do some kind of funny stuff. Excuse me. But, you know, we just want to be, you know, like God calls us to be the light of the world, you know. We want to be a difference in that sense. We want to show that even though as young people and we, you know, serve God and we do our best to follow in His path, that we, you know, we still have fun, we still have a good time, we're still regular people, you know. I drink my hot chocolate, I like playing Madden 21 on my Xbox, you know, we're normal people, but we want to be people that are bring some sort of positivity and joy to you watching this, you know, especially now that, you know, YouTube's probably more important than cable at this point. So we want to be able to reach out to people, you know, and hopefully leave a little impact. And especially with this video, if you don't know, you haven't heard of God or you haven't heard of Jesus, hopefully, you know, this video will intrigue you to want to know a little bit more about them, because they do love you and unconditionally, whether you knew it or not. And that's going to always be your answer for everything. Yours, whether, you know, you may not like the answer or not sometimes, but He's always going to have the right answer for you. And I'll end that video by saying, look for God, seek Him in this year. You know, a lot of people want to see a new year as a new, turning of a page, a new chapter. And I hope to say for your life, and hopefully it's a clean page where you can start out with a lot of goodness and positivity. So with that being said, see you in the next video.